All right, everybody, what's going on? How y'all doing, man? Welcome to today's edition of Swag Talk. The show we cover the swag inside and out. I'm your tour guide around the swag, C Wells, coming at you. And, we've been saying, that we covering these coaching searches and everything. And, when the news would drop, we would drop. So last night, Valley dropped a release at about 7:16 yesterday, announcing that Coach Terrell Buckley would be taking over the football program. And since that dropped, then I decided to push back everything else I was gonna do and just talk about this. So today is Valley finalizing the coaching search. We're gonna talk about the hire and my thoughts on it, and we'll talk about it some more tomorrow on Swag Smoke, of course, along with a bunch of other stuff. And then Saturday, we'll have our picks for Saturday's games in men's basketball. Sunday will be a recap of those games, and Monday I'll be dropping the second part of my transfer portal series, and we'll just keep it rolling from there. So with that being said, man, y'all hit those socials: Facebook is Swag Talk, Instagram Swag Talk, Twitter Swag Talk 76. Don't forget to like the video, comment, and share your thoughts on this hire. What do you think? Did you think they got it right? Did you think they didn't? And anything in between. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel while you're here, and hit the notification bell to be alerted to any videos that I drop. And let's keep it rolling. So we'll go ahead and jump into this, man. Like I said, the news dropped yesterday, and so I decided to go ahead and get with it today. I'm reading from the release on the MVSUsports.com website, so everything is coming directly from there in terms of quotes and things. It says Mississippi Valley State University is proud to announce the appointment of Terrell Buckley as the new football head coach for the Delta Devils. A college football Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, and accomplished coach, Buckley brings a wealth of experience, passion, and a record of excellence to the program. Interim Athletic Director George Ivory stated, "We are thrilled to welcome Coach Buckley as the new head coach of Mississippi Valley State University football. He brings a winning mindset, a deep commitment to developing our student athletes, both on and off the field, and a vision that aligns perfectly with our program's values." Buckley, a native of Pascagoula, Mississippi, and a standout at Florida State University, has spent years excelling both on the field and on the sideline. His illustrious playing career included winning the Jim Thorpe Award as the nation's top defensive back and earning a Super Bowl ring with the New England Patriots, as well as a coach. Buckley has been instrumental in developing talent at both the collegiate and professional levels, most recently serving as the head coach of the Orlando Guardians in the XFL. "We are going to build a culture of accountability, hard work, and belief, because winning starts with those standards we set and the mindset we bring every single day," said Coach Buckley. Buckley's leadership marks a new chapter for MVSU football, one centered on commitment to athletic achievement, academic success, and community engagement. The university is confident that his vision, coupled with his Mississippi roots and extensive football expertise, will ignite a new era of Delta Devil pride. Dr. Gerald Briggs, president of Mississippi Valley State University, expressed his enthusiasm. "We look forward to the wealth of experience and knowledge Coach Buckley will bring to our football program and university. We are in motion." So that's just, a little release from Valley. Looking at Coach Buckley, aka T Buck. Like I said, this is a guy that played multiple years in the NFL. Was a great cornerback at Florida State. Guy that I enjoyed watching when he was in college. He had a huge interception against Michigan in the Big House in 1991. A return for a touchdown. But like I said, he's a guy who's from Mississippi. So he's gonna be able to tap into that. He has some college coaching experience, has some pro coaching experience. So we'll look over who he was as a player and kind of as a coach. Buckley was a 2-year starter and a 3-year letterman at Florida State from 89 to 91, and left as the school's all-time leader in interceptions with 21 and interception return yard with 501. His career interception yardage of 501 is an NCAA record. Buckley also tied the school record for touchdowns off of interception returns with 4 and punt returns with 3. He was named first team All-American and won the Jim Thorpe Award, given annually to the nation's top cornerbacks as a junior. Buckley led the nation with 12 interceptions for 238 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was named second team All-American by Associated Press, the Sporting News, and Football News as a junior. He had 6 interceptions with 2 returned for touchdowns. He finished 7th in the Heisman voting in 1991. He played 2 years of varsity baseball and was a sprinter on the outdoor track team for 1 season. He was drafted by the Green Bay Packers in the first round of the 1992 NFL draft with the 5th overall pick. Moving on to his playing time, he is one of only 2 players, the other being Ken Riley, FAMU alum, with 50-plus interceptions to never make a Pro Bowl. Lewis, what is it? He was the first few of his games of his career, he was a reserve to Lewis Billups. In a game against Cincinnati in 1992, his rookie season, Buckley set what remains a career record as the youngest player to return a punt for a touchdown in NFL history at 21 years, 105 days. That was his only punt return for a touchdown of his career. He responded to criticism of his tackling by giving himself the nickname the Vaccinator. The nickname will stay with him over the years, if only in an ironic sense. On April 3rd, 1995, the Packers traded Buckley to the Dolphins for past considerations. In 96, he led the league in interception return yardage with 164. He had at least 1 interception in 13 consecutive seasons while playing for the Patriots. In 2001 AFC Championship game against the Steelers, Buckley had an interception in the 24-17 win. He also won a Super Bowl ring 1 week later in the win over the St. Louis Rams. Looking at some of his NFL numbers, he finished his career with 546 tackles, 2 sacks, 50 interceptions, 793 return yards for average of 15.9 yards per return. Had a longer 96. He had 6 interception touchdowns. He had 10 forced fumbles, 10 forced fumbles, 15 fumble recoveries, 31 return yards on fumbles, and 1 return for a touchdown on a fumble, and also a punt return. Moving on to his coaching career, he got his coaching career started at Florida State. He earned it after he earned his undergraduate degree from Florida State in 2007. He got a job working with the staff with the Seminoles from 2008 to 2011. He served in various assistant roles on Bobby Bowden and Jimbo Fisher's staff. He worked at Florida State as the assistant safeties coach in 2007. In 2008, he was assistant wide receivers coach. In 2009, he was a grad assistant. And from 2010 to 2011, he was a weight room coach. From there, he went to Akron, where he got his first on-field coaching position. He was hired by the son of his collegiate head coach, Terry Bowden, at Akron in January 2012 to coach cornerbacks. This reunited him with Coach Chuck Amato and with Coach Todd Stroud, who he played for and coached with at FSU. Following his 2 seasons at Akron, he was hired as the cornerback coach at the University of Louisville in January of 2014. On January 7, 2016, he was hired as the safeties coach at Mississippi State University. Following that, on January 18, 2020, he was hired as the cornerback coach at Ole Miss by Lane Kiffin, who was the new head coach at that time. Buckley was hired for his success in both recruiting and developing elite talent, both on and off the field, and for grooming NFL talent. Following that, on April 6, 2022, it was reported that Buckley had accepted a job with the XFL to become the head coach of an upcoming Orlando franchise, formerly the Tampa Bay Vipers. The league confirmed Buckley's hiring, but not the existence of the team in Orlando on April 14th. On July 25th, 2022, the XFL confirmed the franchise in Orlando, Florida, with Buckley announced as head coach. On October 31st, 2022, the team was branded the Orlando Guardians. On January 1st, 2024, it was announced that the Guardians would not be a part of that UFL merger. His time with the Guardians, he finished with a 1-9 record, finishing 4th in the XFL South. and after that, he got the job at Valley. So he's a guy who obviously, he has he has 1 year of head coaching experience on the pro level, but he has multiple years of assistant coaching on the Power 5 level, Power 4 level, however you want to put it, and a couple years on the G5 level. So he's a guy who's coached defensive backs pretty much his whole career. He's a defense, he's a guy who I think is gonna be able to bring a good mindset and a good mentality. We say all the time, Valley is a tough job. I don't think anybody would be surprised to hear anybody say that. I think it takes a special guy to coach this job and to really get in there and do a good job there. You're gonna have to kind of make some sacrifices and understand that certain things are not there. But if you can bring some of those things with you, and help build the infrastructure, which you're probably gonna have to do a lot of that yourself, it could go well for you. I do think that the school is taking steps in the right direction. Last season, they upgraded a lot of the facilities, new field, new scoreboard, new logo off, those kind of things. And the last 2 off seasons, I think Valley has been doing a good job of recruiting and building that energy with that program. But on the field, it hasn't really been there. So I think you need a guy who's gonna be in there and kind of do it all. Gonna have to mix it up on the field and off the field. And he's 53 years old, so he's not too old. I think he's a guy who's been around. He's from the state, so he could he from the state. He coached in the state, so he should have some relationship built from recruiting in his time there. And I Mississippi's got a wealth of JUCOs, so I really think if you hit the JUCOs hard and you work that portal. And you may go after a few guys that most people may not. You can start to build that. I think Valley was moving in the right direction under Coach Dancy before he left, and I think Coach Wade wasn't doing a bad job, especially later in the season. But I think this is a job that your expectations have to be kind of different than other jobs. Not to say that Valley don't want to win. But historically, Valley, even with their great teams, hasn't won a SWAC championship before. So the future is out there. The history and the tradition is there to be set. I think it's just being able to get in here, put together a staff and get out there and kind of beat the bushes and get some guys in there that wants to play Delta Devil football and get them to buy into what he has in store. So I don't grade coaching hires. I think it's kind of tough to grade hires before you see anything from them. No staff yet. Obviously no recruiting yet. So it's tough to grade guys before you get any information. But I do think this is a hire that's a good hire. I think this is one of those tough jobs. That you kind of have to really, really, really want it, and not just, say you want it. You got to go out there and prove that you want it. You got to go out there and, beat the bushes and get your hands dirty and do a lot of stuff on and off the field. And I don't know if a lot of these guys who, ask for these jobs understand that and willing to, get dirty for it. I'm interested to see, how he does. Like I said, he doesn't have, a lot of head coaching experience, only the 1 year in the XFL. But I think the Mississippi roots and everything, I think that helps a lot. And this is a guy who's been in the coaching game. He understands the grind of it. And I think he's gonna have that going for him. But I'm hoping that this sparks a little bit more juice for the Delta Devils. Like I said, I want to see them do well, and I want to see them be competitive. So right now, until we get more information on who he's adding on his staff and the direction that they looking in recruiting and everything, I'm just gonna say I think it's a good hire. I think it's one of those moves that really you could have put anybody here, and most likely, unless it was a guy that just never had been around football, I think you can't go wrong with a guy like that. But you're gonna the Valley job is definitely gonna be a lot of wait and see, because you really have to see how much he can deal with some of the things that they don't have. If he can work on getting certain things in there, and help them build that infrastructure, because a lot of this stuff is gonna be have to build from basically ground zero, and build that program up. So I'm excited to see what he does. I'm excited to see which direction he goes with his staff, and how they recruit and everything, because I do think the last 2 seasons in the off season recruiting and everything, I thought Valley had a good buzz going on. It's just once the season started, things kind of floundered. But it's gonna like I said, it's gonna be interesting to see how this shapes up. So this is I think with all the hires that have been made in the conference this season, I think everybody did a solid job with hiring a guy who I think can help their program. What I'm saying, continue to grow and advance. Um, and so I'm excited. When I saw that, when I saw his name come across, I was pretty excited. I think T Buck is a guy who been put in a lot of work, and so I'm excited to see what he does. And obviously, gonna definitely be keeping tabs on the Delta Devils, and hopefully, some things can shape up, and they can start to be a mix in the division. So with that being said, man, I'm your tour guide around the SWAC Seawell, signing out, and I will catch y'all on the rebound. Peace.